take a moment of silence for my Xbox controller that I actually just thunder punted across my room because I lost in college football. Anyways, hey guys, what is up? Big Reviews here back again with a video. Today I wanted to go over the future of the MCU. Now I got some notes down here that I was writing, and this stems from the news that came out about Doctor Doom and stuff coming out soon, and all of a sudden Doom is taking over the position of Kang, and just where we're going in the future of the MCU, because I am excited more than I was for Phase 4 and even 5, because now it feels like we're finally back to old school Marvel where everything's connecting and stuff. And because as we know, 21 to 22 was like really disjointed, you know what I mean? I didn't know where they were going for. They were just shoving shit out. So I figured I'd break down the big things that are coming out. So first, let's talk Deadpool 3. As we know, Deadpool 3 was amazing. If you haven't seen my review, go watch this last video I posted. And it didn't actually set up a lot of stuff like I thought it was going to, which is okay though. It was more of a send-off to the Fox films and all that, and it was a really good film. But there definitely was stuff in there that was hinting towards future things that could be important. The number one and almost the only thing that really I know is going to be important moving forward is the idea of an anchor being. Now, the anchor being, like they say, like Paradox says in Deadpool, is basically a being that when they die, they're so important to their timeline that their timeline will start to decay in the next 1,000 years and disappear. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly, just because knowing one person dying can just be the end of a whole timeline. I don't know how I feel about that, but anyways, it's been established. And Kevin Feige actually was asked about this, and in special Kevin Feige way, he said,
"Is Iron Man the anchor being of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which anchor being is a concept introduced in Deadpool and Wolverine."
The fact that you even asked that makes me very happy.
Amen.
And that term has ignited your imagination to even ask that question. It's your final question.
Here we go.
Very exciting.
So if you know anything about Kevin Feige, he didn't say anything there, but him not saying stuff also says a lot, and it shows that they wanted us to take that term and move on with it, and I'm glad that we are, because it's going to be important. The main question is, what is 616 or the Sacred Timeline's anchor being? People are saying it's Iron Man. Some people say it's Wanda. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying it's actually Kang, and I don't know how I feel. I think that would be interesting because I don't see them just going away from Kang. Now, yes, Loki made it away, and we'll talk about Loki here in a second. Loki made it where Kang was basically beaten, you know what I mean? Because he beat Victor Timely, he beat the whole TVA. But I feel like they will touch on Kang at least one more time and wrap his whole thing up. But I personally, if it's not Kang, I do think it's going to be Tony. Just because I don't see it being Wanda, because Wanda's already a Nexus being, which means she's already like she's the same in every multiverse, right? So I don't see her being the Nexus being and the anchor being. Let's go ahead and talk about Loki season 2 then for a second. I didn't even cover Loki on my channel for some dumbass reason, but Loki was and is one of my favorite projects from Marvel, especially post Endgame. Loki season 2 was great, and the way it handled Kang and stuff in the timeline. So now we know that Loki is going to be important moving forward with what Doom will want to do with Secret Wars and stuff. And I do think Doom, in my opinion, is going to go after Loki in the TVA. Because think about it. If you take down Loki, you control any time, like all the timelines. You can do whatever you want with them, right? So I do think Loki is going to play a role into like Secret Wars and Doomsday, and it'll be really cool to see him on the good side for once and fighting against Doom. But I sadly do think Doom is gonna like mollywop him and take the time over the timelines. So let's go to the big ones then coming up. We're gonna end with Avengers obviously because that's the biggest things, but we have Fantastic Four, which comes out next year, which I'm super excited for. I touched on it in another video, but I really love the 60s space exploration aesthetic. If you don't know, the director Matt Shackman said that they're going, it's like a space race, but you know, the Fantastic Four, and I love space, as you know, so I love that they're doing that. And if you've seen the leaked footage, I can't play it here obviously, but if you've seen the leaked footage from San Diego Comic-Con, which was actually them just costume fitting, but they've already done so much previs and stuff of the world that they were able to make a short little like sizzle reel of like the vibe they want. It's looking promising, and we see Galactus at the end. So as we know, or if you don't know, the Fantastic Four aren't in 616, at least in the start of that movie. They're in a separate reality. That's why it's 1960s New York, but it's like futuristic, almost like it looks like a Fallout futuristic type thing. And so the big question is, and Kevin Feige has confirmed that they're going to be in Avengers 5 and 6, so how are they going to come over? And a big theory is that I agree with is that something's going to happen where their reality gets destroyed, but the Fantastic Four are going to be able to come into 616 and escape their reality. Now there is rumors, and I don't know if they're leaks, that apparently Galactus is going to be, I forgot what it's called, but it's whatever America Chavez is in Doctor Strange, where there's no variants of you in the multiverse, like that's it. And that'll be interesting because maybe Galactus will follow them over, because I really hope Galactus isn't a one-movie villain. He's too big to be a one-movie villain, right? But the big theory, and the one that I am really down for, and basically how I think it's going to connect, is I think RDJ's Doom is going to be from this universe, right? And he's going to basically follow the Fantastic Four, and maybe they don't know they're followed into 616's universe, right? And I think that's where Doom's going to become. Because I've said in the video where they announced about RDJ's Doom, I don't think this is going to be Doom from 616. I just don't see it. I feel like Doom is such a big and like rich character with Latveria and all that I don't see them using him from RDJ just for these Avengers films, and then we never see him again. So I do think he's going to come from a different universe, and I do think it's going to be from Fantastic Four. So I think that's why Fantastic Four is coming out first, and that's why Fantastic Four are the only people that have been confirmed to be in Avengers besides the Thunderbolts. And I do think that Doom will be in Fantastic Four. Now, will he be in the ending? Will he be in a post-credit scene? I don't know. But I do think he's going to be in that film. I don't see them not doing that because it's just a perfect setup. It's almost like a Hail Mary type thing. Next up, and the one that might not seem like it connects to these films as much, but it will, is Captain America 4. And the reason why this is happening is because we know Ross in Captain America. If you guys don't know, they had the Captain America trailer, but at San Diego Comic-Con, people got extended scenes from the scenes in the trailer, and we see Ross talking with Cap, and he's basically saying that he wants Sam to form a new Avengers, and apparently and Sam's like, well, you were part of the reason why we broke up with the Sokovia Accords, and if you don't know, Thunderbolt Ross was snapped in the snap from Thanos, so now he's changed of heart, and he's like, I want you to make an Avengers team. Now, if this has ulterior motives, we don't know, but this is really good because obviously the Avengers 5 and 6 are coming, and obviously in world they don't know when the next Avengers will happen, like the big moment where they have to fight, right? Like Tony never knew, like, 2018 Thanos is coming, right? It just happens in their universe to them, but we're the watchers obviously, so we know. So I do think Captain America 4 will either tease people he picks or just put in our minds that after this movie ends, in between now and Avengers, he's going to be making a team, and probably that team will be revealed in the next Avengers film. Because like Kevin Feige said, we don't know who's going to be in the next film. And he said that obviously he knows that they've introduced so many characters now. It's not just 6 Avengers anymore, right? It's not even the Age of Ultron, which was like 10. There's a lot more. I mean, if you think about it, it's basically like double or triple Infinity Wars or Endgame's like number. Not Endgame, because Endgame had like a lot of like side like B, C tier characters, but like Infinity War, where there was like at least 15 to 20 Avengers doing shit everywhere, right? It's gonna be double or triple that. I mean, we've had Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, all these people come out, so it's obviously that some people have to make cuts and be cut, and so it's gonna be interesting to see who they choose and why. And obviously, if you don't know, Captain America 4 centers around the Celestial that's out of the water from the end of Eternals, and all these nations are fighting for control over this thing because this is where adamantium's going to come. So that's going to set up the X-Men as well. And obviously, like Kevin Feige said, after the multiversal arc, we are going to be in the mutant era, which is going to be so nice. I'm glad that we have mutants and Fantastic Four now to carry us, because after Infinity War and Endgame, before they got Fox, we knew we was going to do Kang, but then after that, they were almost like, shit, what was our next big villain? Now we have access to so many more villains, Galactus, Doom, all that stuff. So I am excited for that, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there. Then obviously we have Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. We've known about Secret Wars for probably 6-7 years now, that they've had interest in doing that. The Russo brothers, when they finished Infinity War and Endgame, said the only way we'll come back is if we do Secret Wars, and I'm so glad they're back. We talked about that in the other video, but them being back, especially with their writer who co-wrote Endgame, I'm just so excited because they understand how to do these Avengers movies. I mean, Endgame, some of the best scenes in Endgame are not even fights. It's just scenes where they talk, right? You have Cap and Natasha talking because Natasha's just taking it really hard. You have scenes where all the Avengers are talking after Natasha died. It just seems like that, and that's what really makes these people really good at what they do with these Avengers films, because obviously it's a spectacle, it's all these heroes, but like making them interact with each other and just dealing with these consequences are really something special to see on screen. And I like that they're treating this like Infinity War Endgame. Doomsday, like they said, they have always wanted to do Secret Wars, but you can't do Secret Wars without Doom. So you need to do Doomsday to lead into Secret Wars. And I'm really liking that. You know, Infinity War Endgame worked perfectly. You know, leave off on a cliffhanger. Probably Doom will win in Doomsday, right? And then you have Secret Wars. So it works. I mean, it keeps people engaged, and you get 2 Avengers films out of it. I really don't see how they're going to end this or what. I do think we're going to see Hugh Jackman again. I do think we're going to see Tobey Maguire. And that's me being a nerd, but I do think we're going to be seeing all these like famous actors from over the past 20 years. And because if you don't, like, Secret Wars is going to be the final hoorah of this multiversal arc, right? We've been in the multiverse phase since 2020. And so now that we're getting past all that, we're about to be in the mutant phase. Secret Wars is really going to be the finale of this. So I feel like this is where they're going to be like, okay, Hugh's back. You know, I never thought Hugh was going to be gone after Deadpool 3. I figured he'd stick around for at least a couple more years. Obviously, Deadpool will be in the movie too. But, I mean, I think we'll see Toby. I think we'll see Andrew even. Some of these bigger names that from other movies and stuff. But then I don't think we'll see him again, which is good. I feel like, yeah, go out with a hoorah, but do it like, they need to do it like what Deadpool did. And I hope they know this. Like, Deadpool had some cameos, like, you know, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of who was a cameo in that film just to say, oh, that's a cameo. Because there's a difference between a cameo and an unannounced supporting actor, right? If you think about it, and spoilers for Deadpool here, guys, but Elektra, Blade, and Gambit aren't just cameos, and X-23, and even Johnny, to an extent, Johnny Flame. They're unannounced supporting actors. They had a part in the movie. Like, Johnny Storm was there to help them and then introduce them to the Void and to Cassandra Nova and who all these people are. Yeah, he died quickly. But then, you know, Blade and Gambit and X-23 and all that, they were there for like 20 minutes. They introduced them, tell them what's going on. They helped attack Cassandra Nova and all that stuff. So I really think whoever they pick in Secret Wars and even Doomsday to appear needs to be like, obviously they can have little things like you see Howard the Duck for a second, you're like, that's funny. But I feel like the people they pick need to just be unannounced supporting actors. Perfect example of this is like No Way Home. Toby and Andrew were in there. They're supporting actors. They're not cameos because they were in the movie for a lot. I'm not saying they need to be in there for 40 minutes. Even if some people are in there 10 minutes, just to get over, because if you do a lot of, oh shit, 20 people cameos all of a sudden, kind of like The Flash did at the end of The Flash, right? It comes off as, oh, now you're just trying to nostalgia bait and stuff. Even though I'd eat that shit up, and I think most people would, even though they would shit on it, I do think they should be careful. But I'm liking how the message at the end of this video is just, I'm really liking how everything's connected, right? We have Loki, who dealt with Kang a little bit, and now we know Loki holds the timelines. We had Deadpool 3, which introduced an anchor being, and now that's going to be a big term moving forward, and I think Doom's going to be trying to find out anchor beings and stuff so he can rule some timelines, and I do think he's going to go after Loki. We have Captain America, who's making a new Avengers team, and we don't know who he's going to pick, but at least we now know, because for the past 4 or 5 years, the Avengers aren't really a thing anymore since Endgame, right? Everyone's split off into their own things now. All these new heroes are around. So now it's going to be great to have an Avengers team made by Sam. And it's going to be like Captain America leading it again. And we have Fantastic Four, which obviously are some of the biggest members of the Avengers. And they're going to come from their timeline, which is going to bring all these implications in of themselves. And maybe even Doom's going to come from there, like a lot of theories, like I believe, and Galactus. So whatever happens at the end of Fantastic Four is going to be very important to very important to Doomsday and to Secret Wars. I don't see them not doing that, because especially they have to answer how they're going to get over here and all that stuff. And obviously Avengers 5 leads into 6. We're probably going to see Doom win in Avengers 5, and then 6 is going to be them wrapping it all up. I don't know too much about Secret Wars, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they pull it off. And with Robert Downey Jr. back, the Russo brothers back, the co-writer from Endgame and Infinity War back, I think we're back. Marvel's been up for me since Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Quantumania was in the beginning of 23, and that was pretty much a big letdown. But then we had Guardians of the Galaxy. We had everything that came out last year. The Marvels was fun to me. And then now we have... Oh, yeah, we're also forgetting... A lot of people forget, because a lot of people haven't seen the Marvels. Proton is in another universe. I totally forget that. Like, at the end of Marvel, she gets sucked into another universe, and you see Beast from the OG Fox X-Men films, and then you see her mom still alive as a superhero. I think she's in the Fox universe, right? Because as of right now, Deadpool and Wolverine are in Earth 10005, right? They're not in 616. And so I think her being there, I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how they come to our universe too, right? But I trust these guys. Yes, Marvel has been down. I know I keep saying this, but I feel like we've been up since Guardians 3, guys. I really, truly am excited for this. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys have any theories that I didn't talk about or that you think are better than the ones I've mentioned, let me know down below. I would love to talk about them because I haven't felt like this in a while with Marvel, where I'm truly excited for like how they're gonna connect everything and stuff, and especially with Deadpool announcing anchor beings and just seeing the TVA in general. Like that was our first big thing of Fox and Marvel, colliding. I'm just truly excited to see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Bye-bye. Also, D23 is August 9th, 10th, and 11th. I will have a video up because that's where they're going to announce more movies like Shang-Chi 2 or whatever, the big ones. Like, not as big that they needed to do San Diego, but they'll announce like their, timeline type thing. So I will have a video on that. But love you guys. Bye-bye.